As I walked into the Centennial Museum and had to decide between geology or ethnology exhibit, I found myself more drawn to the ethnology exhibit. And don't get me wrong, I love geology, but I think I've always been really drawn to the study of people over time. Seeing these exhibits of our indigenous ancestors, I was particularly interested in the symbolism prevalent in these cultures. Being inhabitants of a desert, food must have been scarce and farming must have been near impossible. Rain, something we now know to be a mere climate event and varies based on the ecology of your environment, was greatly symbolic to our ancestors, who would conduct rain dances and even created effigies of frogs and fish that they would offer to the gods. Food is essentially survival, so I understand why these creatures, who often only show themselves when it rains, become spiritual symbols themselves. This part of the exhibit, specifically, shows that the priests of their culture were adorned with the rarest stones, proving just how important spirituality and the need to understand the world around them really was. There was a fascinating exhibit on the Chinese culture in El Paso, as they migrated here during the 1800s to work on the railroads. I couldn't help but notice how similar their pottery was to that of our indigenous ancestors here in the Southwest. Jars for holding food, preserving food, for medicines. Every culture has a need for craft, for domesticity, even for spirituality, religion, or a form of philosophy that governs our everyday life. I thought that was particularly very beautiful, and as I walked down the steps of the museum, felt a very overwhelming feeling of connectedness to all people, because ultimately I think the search for those things is rooted in love and the fear of death. No matter our cultural differences, we are all the same in that search.